I really need this trim at the top. Bound for greatness. Bound for destiny. Bound for failure. Bound for misery. For 19 years, Impact Wrestling has used the month of October to celebrate accolades, achievement, and success. And no better way to do it than with a massive wrestling show. This Saturday night, Impact Wrestling is bound for glory. Wait until my partner responds and gets in here, folks. Send him a message. Come on, Jose, get your ass in here, you son of a bitch. Come on, Jose, get in here,
Let's do it. Are we starting already?
Yes. Anyway, let's kick it off with the match I think that will start aside from card order because it doesn't make sense. We'll start with the Call Your Shot, the 20-person intergender Call Your Shot Gauntlet. A gauntlet-style battle royal with any combination of 20, both men and women alike. Battling it out. Well, it's just 20 people. Oh, any combination of men and women to get that number of 20. Currently, here are the 10 we do know that are in this. Jake Something, Dirty Dango, Champagne Singh, Eric Young, Jordynne Grace, Ryan Myers, FKA Kurt Hawkins, Shera, KiLynn King, Jody Threat, Bully Ray. We don't know who the other 10 are going to be. Probably we'll find that out on Saturday night.
With only 2 days left, they'll probably be revealing the rest.
True. 2 people will start. Every minute after that, another person comes in according to the number they pull. Every person for himself get eliminated by going over the top with both feet in the floor. When it's down to the final 2, it becomes a straight-up wrestling match. Last person standing wins a trophy that they can cash in for any title opportunity, any title, anywhere, anytime for up to a year.
Wow.
We know that the first man to enter this will be Jake Something, and the last man to enter it will be Dirty Dango.
Interesting.
Very interesting. It'll be like throwing knives blindfolded at the throwing darts blindfolded with this one.
Yeah.
I mean, the other 10 I can take guesses on. Jonathan Gresham, Joe Hendry, Rich Swann, Jessica Havoc, Savannah Evans, and
You're running out of predictions.
well, I mean, in terms of picks of who would be in it, not predictions who win it. Diener, Khan, Alec Angels,
This is going to be quiet.
Kenny King, and Sheldon Jean would be the 10 I think would fill up the field. But as for who wins it, I'm going to go with a wild card here and pick Brian Myers.
If I were to pick, I choose Eric Young.
Fair enough. Next up, oh boy.
Wait, so the Call Your Shot Gauntlet was the first match on the card, or is it a fake? Because I'm looking for the wiki, it's like fifth in the card.
I think it's in the way they arranged this on the card order.
I see.
Or with the going bottom to top instead of top to bottom.
Fair enough.
Next, PCO, Rhino, Steve Maclin, and Moose in the Monsters Ball.
Made famous by Abyss.
All 4 of these men will be locked in separate parts of the basement of Cicero Stadium tomorrow night in solitary confinement. No food, no water, no exposure to light.
All it is just pure darkness.
And then once those 24 hours are up, they're going to be let loose.
This should be interesting.
It's going to be hectic. Weapons and courage. Expect blood. As for who wins this, there's really no point in Moose winning it since he has what he because of what he's got on hand. His Feast or Fire briefcase with a world title shot inside it.
Indeed.
So does he really need to win Monsters Ball? No, he just needs to survive.
And surviving is better than not surviving at all.
PCO, he's there to be the bump monkey, essentially. Or spot monkey, depending on what you want to call it. And to think that this guy is 55 years old and he's still doing this. Know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm boiling this down to Maclin and Rhino, and I'm going to give it to Maclin because their feud is basically centered around Rhino wanting payback for Maclin basically destroying his knee when Maclin was the world champion over the spring and putting Rhino on the shelf, and Maclin wanting payback against Rhino for costing him the Feast or Fire world title match briefcase. Because the way Moose won it was Maclin had gotten the case down, Moose was outside the ring, everyone was trying to keep Maclin from getting out of the ring with that briefcase in hand, and then out comes Rhino, who wasn't even in the match, hits Maclin with the door, and the force sends the briefcase flying out of the ring, and it lands in Moose's hand.
Wow. Just wow.
Tell me about it. And that's the main reason I'm picking Maclin. What about you?
If I were to make my decision, I'd say it would probably be Steve Maclin to win it.
Okay. Knockouts tag titles. MK Ultra, which is Killer Kelly and Masha Slamovich, against the virtuosa Deonna Purazzo and the Boricua badass Tasha Steelz.
Long ago, when the gods first created this
This
Knockouts
is,
tag title match.
I'm going to be blunt. I've never had really a lot of interest in the tag titles ever since they were created in 2009 and retroactively activated and then deactivated. Deactivated and then reactivated. Know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, eventually the WWE made the same mistake, and here's hoping Impact doesn't make the same mistake. I mean, AEW doesn't make the same mistake. Excuse me.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I were to pick, I'm going to go with an upset here and say Purazzo and Steelz.
Fair enough.
When you look at this matchup, you have Steelz and Purazzo, who are very technical, high-flying talents, against Killer Kelly and Masha Slamovich, who are power babes, but fueled by a bloodlust. Masha, especially, if you've ever watched any of her work in Game Changer,
Yeah.
where she held the world title for a bit.
Dang.
Next up, the Rascals put the Impact World Tag Titles on the line against Bullet Club's ABC, Ace Austin, and Chris Bay. This is Chris Bay's Beast or Fire Tag Title match cash-in as well.
This is going to be an interesting. The Rascals or ABC?
The ABC, the Rascals have been a thorn in their side. In many ways, back at Slammiversary, the Rascals are the reason the ABC lost the Impact World Tag Titles to Subculture. And then it wasn't until like late August, early September, I don't remember, when the Rascals won the titles off Chris Flash Morgan Webster and Chris and Mark Andrews of Subculture, who had taken the tag titles to Europe to defend them across the British wrestling scene. And this new attitude of the Rascals is just disgusting. I mean, they've spray painted the Impact tag titles in the same way Miguel painted the X Division title before he lost it to Sabin, and I believe against all odds earlier this year. I am really getting fed up with the Rascals defacing titles. I mean, ABC want their payback? I say give it to them. And it'll be payback that is just too sweet! What about you, Jose?
So your vote's on ABC, huh?
Mm-hmm.
My vote will also be on ABC.
Too sweet me.
Yep.
Next up, for the Knockouts Women's Championship, Trinity Fatu defends against Mickie James.
She's still going.
Granted, the former is just called Trini since they won't let her use the Fatu family name. Anyway, Mickie never lost the Impact Tag title, the World Women's title. She was forced to vacate due to a concussion back in the spring. This led to a match at Rebellion between Deonna Purazzo and Jordynne Grace, which was won by Purazzo, and then Purazzo ended up losing the belt to Trinity at Slammiversary. To me, it seems a bit too soon to take the belt off Trinity, but on the other hand, Mickie wants the belt back, so I'm gonna flip it. If it's heads, Trinity. Tails, I go Mickie.
All right, flip it.
Heads, I'm going Trinity.
I'm going Mickie James.
That's what I thought. For the X Division Championship, the 10-time X Division champion Chris Sabin puts his gold on the line against Kenta. This will be an interesting one. My question is Kenta willing to take shortcuts to get to the title? Because he has been doing that a lot since joining Bullet Club. You know what I'm saying, Jose?
Yeah. I hear you.
So, who gets the win here?
That's a tough one. So it's between Chris Sabin and Kenta. Both of them are very talented. I'll give it that much.
And both have been in the game for over 20 years.
Two veterans on the battlefield. No doubt about it. If I were to make my decision, I vote for Chris Sabin.
Same
Sorry.
here. Too many scheduling conflicts if Kenta wins it.
I agree.
Next up, Will Ospreay versus Speedball Mike Bailey.
Oh, no. This is going to be one for the ages.
Anyone who watched their match in the What Culture World Cup a few years ago would know what that's like.
I know. I didn't really think that they would. I kind of missed the WCPW promotion. It was short-lived, but it did deliver in terms of a lot of good talent.
As well as really opening the eyes of the world back on the British wrestling scene.
Yeah, because the British wrestling scene, in all honesty, yeah, I feel that it deserves much more exposure.
And then Vince had to poach most of the fucking talent.
Mm-hmm.
And for his UK branch of NXT,
Which
which ended
is
up
scummy.
dying within a few years, mostly due to the COVID pandemic.
Yep.
One of Vince's biggest mistakes.
It was a big-ass mistake, just like the XFL when he came back a second time.
Actually, it'd be a third time, but whatever.
Yeah, I know, because now Dwayne The Rock Johnson had it, and now they're planning on merging it with the USFL.
Like, either league gets a lot of people in their stadiums anyway. I mean, not a lot of people care for spring pro football. Know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Most people are more interested in baseball by the time that kicks off.
Exactly. And baseball season, all eyes are on it. Just like right now, football is going on. And speaking of which, today's game is about to start in a matter of minutes. Yeah, I watch football on Amazon Prime if you haven't figured that out.
I use Twitch as my backdoor for that.
Yeah, but since I have Amazon Prime Video, I have a legal way of watching certain games. But it's mostly Thursday night games because it has one of my favorite voices, Al Michaels.
Well, I'm saying I use the Amazon Prime channel on Twitch as my backdoor to do it.
Oh, nice. That's good to hear.
So it is semi-legal in my case.
Yeah, it works for you. Oh, nice. The game already started.
But in a few weeks, I also have a bit of a backdoor with the infamous Tank Bowl game coming up on the 9th.
Oh, this is going to be fun. The Giants, unfortunately, have their bye week.
On the 9th of November?
Let me look right now. Oh, yeah, they're going to fight the Commanders on Sunday.
Yeah, that's the Jets who are off this week.
Yeah.
I was shocked they actually beat the Eagles for the first time ever.
I am surprised they beat I am surprised the Jets beat Philadelphia. Not to mention the 49ers losing. And guess what? There are no longer any undefeated teams, which means the 72 Dolphins is still going strong.
And still popping that champagne.
They are. Almost 50 years later.
Actually, it's 50.
Yeah, over 50 years later.
And Lions fans right now are pinching themselves.
Mm-hmm. Because they're now one of the best teams in the league. But that's mostly because most other teams are complete trash.
Anyway, my pick for this, I like Mike. He's one of my closest friends in the industry. He's one of my closest buddies on Twitch. But Will's just at the top of his game right now. I mean, recently just got done retaining the IWGP UK title in front of his and Zack Sabre Jr.'s home crowd in London in the Copper Box at Royal Quest this past Saturday.
Yeah.
And he's set up to defend both the US and UK titles against Shota Umino November the 4th at Power Struggle.
That's nuts.
Of course, he also has Gabe Kidd breathing down his neck for one reason or another. Maybe they'll turn it into a triple threat. I don't know.
Who knows?
Like I said, I picked Will Ospreay. Who you taking?
I'm taking Bailey. I'm sorry, but this is going to be one hell of a match for the ages. Okay. It's like you got two of the most talented people in this match, and they're going to deliver a hell of a show.
Finally, the main event. Impact World Champion Alex Shelley defends against the walking weapon, Josh Alexander. Like Mickey, Josh never lost his title. He had to vacate due to a tricep tear back in March, which led to the match between Maclin and Kushida at Rebellion, which was won by Maclin. Maclin would hold the belt for a couple of months before losing it to Sabin at Against All Odds back in June.
Mm-hmm.
Lately, there's been some dissension between the two since Josh's return at Slammiversary.
Yep.
Now, tying into what I said about Moose and that Feast or Fire briefcase, I think we're going to get a repeat of what happened at Bound for Glory 2021. Josh Alexander wins the match, but then shortly as he's celebrating, Moose will clock him in the head with the briefcase, cash it in, spear him, and walk out once again like a thief in the night with the Impact World title back around his waist.
Yep.
Either that, or if Brian Myers wins the Call Your Shot and both he and Moose try to cash in at the same time, they're just going to end up fighting each other, and then Alexander will sneak out with the belt in hand, pinning one or the other. But the more logical outcome's on the former. So Alexander wins, but I'm taking Moose to leave Chicago with the Impact World title in hand.
Mm-hmm.
What about you?
Alex Shelley versus Josh Alexander, the main event. If I were to pick, I'd rather have Alex retain.
And then have Moose slug him with the...
Exactly. Moose delivered the cheap shot and he ends up losing it.
So we had opposite outcomes, but aftermath outcome, we're both picking Moose.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fair enough. Well, folks, that's it for tonight's episode of the MegaMets. We'll see you all next Thursday. Next up on the docket for us, Pro Wrestling Noah's Demolition Stage.
This better not disappoint.
October the 28th in Fukuoka, the final show of in the Noah career of Katsuhiko Nakajima.
Yeah.
Which will be a sad day for Noah.
Indeed.
Leave a comment, smash the like, sub to both our channels. Mega Man and G, Mets 2128 signing out. Goodbye and good night. Bang.
Bang, bang, indeed.
See you next Thursday night.
Indeed. Later.
And cut.